Hey everybody, now y'all know I rarely even talk about politics on here, but lately it's been so much craziness and so much drama going on in the political world. I felt like I should bring back my segment called Crazy Politics because it's just too much to talk about, right? So we're going to start talking about it, of course, in a respectful manner, but let's talk about it because I cannot wait to discuss this Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump situation. I can't even get his name out. Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump and Melania Trump situation because that's all over the internet and I've been catching up and following the stories and everything, right? But first, let's talk about this doggone passport that everybody's upset about, okay? Now, this is the information on the passport, okay? Listen to this. Starting with this new passport, okay? Let me get straight here. It will not be on every standard U.S. passport. Only a limited edition to commemorate America's 250th anniversary of independence, okay? It's not replacing the original design and won't be on the cover. It will be primarily issued through Washington, D.C. passport office, okay? So for all you people that's freaking out, it probably won't affect you at all. Just a limited edition. Most of them will come out of Washington, D.C. and he won't be on the cover. He'll be on the inside. It's just let him do his thing, y'all. He just want his name and face on everything. So while he's in office, just whatever, okay? Ain't nothing we could do about it anyway. Okay. So now let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel because I have a question for y'all. Do you really think he crossed the line, Jimmy Kimmel crossed the line when he told this joke about Melania Trump? Because now Melania wants him punished, Donald Trump wants him fired, and the internet is completely divided. So listen to this video now. Let me know what you think. Listen to
30
this.
years ago, you were just some rich guy on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet out of Teterboro, but you worked hard, you stayed friends, you shared some wonderful secrets, and because of that, you were able to fly on that plane 7 more times. Dreams really do come true. Dog the bounty hunter? That's right. We miss you so much. And of course, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Okay, listen, that was a mock roast. Okay, if you've been following these dinners, correspondence dinners, if you've been following them over the years, what they do is they have this dinner, all the media people go, and they have someone at the who's hosting the event, usually a comedian. He'll tell jokes about the president, the administration. He'll just tell jokes, and it's supposed to be for a funny gathering, right? It's supposed to be, humorous and all of that. But apparently Donald Trump didn't want jokes being told on him, so they didn't want a comedian. They wanted someone else to do it. So Jimmy Kimmel, he came up with, on his late night show, he decided to do what he thought would have been a good mock, a roast of it. So that's what he came up with, and that's what everybody's mad about. So anyway, after hearing that, Melania Trump responded, Donald Trump responded, the press secretary responded, but this is what Melania Trump posted on X. She said, this is just a abbreviated version because her reply was really too long. I'm not going to read 5 paragraphs, but this is just a snippet of what she posted. Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. People like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes every evening to spread this hate. Really? Okay. Okay. So here's what Donald Trump posted, okay? Donald Trump went further on what he posted on Truth Social, and he said this: I appreciate that so many people are incensed by Kimmel's despicable call to violence and normally would not be responsive to anything that he said, but this is something far beyond the pale. Jimmy Kimmel should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC. Okay, so that's what, of course, he would be triggered by that. All right. So, and of course, their press secretary, the White House press secretary, is a woman named Carolyn Levitt. She has something to say, of course. She called it deranged anti-Trump rhetoric that's hateful and violent, and Americans consume this day in and day out. Every night, she says, Americans are consuming this hate and, hateful rhetoric coming from Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so take a listen to this video.
When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late-night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As President Trump said on Saturday night at this podium, we as Americans must recommit ourselves to resolving our differences peacefully and uniting around the shared values that make our country great.
Okay. So Jimmy Kimmel, the next day when he had a chance to respond to all of this, he refused to apologize, but did defend himself. He says it was a joke, y'all, about their age difference. It had nothing at all to do with violence. Take a listen.
Obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular. I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it.
Now, Kimmel also said he is sorry for what everyone went through Saturday, but he doesn't want anyone to believe that a joke that he made 3 days before the event had anything to do with what happened. ABC has not publicly made a comment.
Okay, now after all of this fuss they're making about getting him fired, getting him off the air because he's spreading violence, he's spreading rhetoric and all of this. He's talking about us. He's just all this stuff that they started, right? Well, they said Kimmel started it, but some people say that they started it. So after all of that, Trump turns around the very next day, last night, and does the same thing he accuses Kimmel of. Listen to this.
Trump was very excited about hosting the king, and a lot of it is because Trump's mom was a great fan of the royal family.
My wonderful mother, Mary McLeod. She came to America at 19, met my incredible father. We loved him so much. We all loved him. We loved her. We loved him, Fred, and they were married for 63 years. And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way.
Wait a minute. Did he just make a joke about his death? He should be fired for that. Only Donald Trump would demand I be fired for making a joke about his old age and then a day later go out and make a joke about his own old age.
I mean, that's the same thing, right? He just made a joke about his own age. And that's the same thing Kimmel was saying in his monologue the other night. He was talking about Trump's age, about he's being much older than Melania. So the same joke just happened. He just did the same thing he accused. This is just, I mean, it's just too funny, y'all. We got to be able to laugh at this stuff, because if not, we would be so stressed out and so crazy from listening to all of this mess on both sides. The blue and the red both need to tone it down a little bit, but you gotta laugh at some of this stuff, because otherwise you'll be too crazy and stressed out. So now for a different perspective. You know, I try to include both sides, but here's a different perspective. And this is a guy by the name of Keith Boykin, who I follow. Some of y'all may know him from, he is an independent journalist. He's very good. He just speaks the truth. He doesn't just side with Democrats all the time, but he just speaks the truth. And I like journalists like that, because that's how I feel. I support with what I believe is right, whether it's red or blue, whatever their viewpoints that I feel like is right, that's the side, that's what I support at that moment. Okay, so take a listen to this video.
Melania Trump wants Jimmy Kimmel fired because she claims his hateful and violent rhetoric is dividing our country. Melania, I don't know if you know this, but the guy who's dividing our country is the guy snoring in the bedroom next to yours. Yes, that's a sensitive joke, but it was not about violence. And right on cue, all the pearl-clutching Republicans are back on TV policing other people's tone and rhetoric because they can dish it out, but they can't take it. But if a comedian should be fired for telling a sensitive joke about a president, shouldn't a president be fired for violating the same rule? Melania says people like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. That's exactly why your husband should be removed from office and why your victim card is declined. If you remain silent when Trump urged his supporters to knock the crap out of protesters, said he wanted to punch people in the face at his campaign rallies, joked about Second Amendment remedies to get rid of Hillary Clinton, tear-gassed peaceful protesters outside the White House, praised a congressman for body slamming a reporter, mocked Nancy Pelosi's husband after he was attacked, publicly celebrated when Colin Powell, John McCain, Rob Reiner, and Robert Mueller passed away, likened himself to Jesus, beefed with the Pope, and threatened to destroy the entire civilization of Iran, then you probably need to.
That's all I'm saying. If you're not paying attention to the rhetoric that your own husband is spitting out every day, 24 hours a day, all in the middle of the night, weekends, holidays, Easter Sunday, he said something that was disrespectful. I mean, every single day, this guy, we have never seen a president behave like this ever. So if she's not paying attention to that, how dare you point the finger on somebody else to be fired over something that they said? I agree. Let's start. I agree with what Kimmel said. Let's start by having a conversation with your own husband first. He the one started all this talking. Presidents don't behave like that. He started all this meanness. But anyway, so as of now, ABC and Disney have not publicly agreed to fire Kimmel. Reports indicate ABC is continuing to back Jimmy Kimmel for now, with no immediate suspension or cancellation tied to this Melania controversy. So in other words, we just have to wait and see what says, see what happens. And hopefully they don't, because the Republicans are one that were fighting over or rooting for free speech. So now that everybody's exercising their free speech rights, they have a problem. So I don't know. We'll stay tuned to get more updates. I'll post it on here as I get more information. And y'all have a good evening. Short video today, okay? Have a good evening. Bye.